Let's go through some other results, Rob, that were this weekend.
Yeah.
We did the Arsenal game, didn't we? It was the last game on Saturday before the Derby race. Arsenal at home to Bournemouth. Arsenal go 1-0 ahead, courtesy of Declan Rice on his 100th appearance for the Gunners. Gets a goal, played a little bit higher. Partey was back in the team after the suspension in the Champions League. Odegaard played one side. Rice played a little bit higher, made a few runs into the box and scored himself a nice goal. Kind of goal that when people say, there's more in Declan Rice, that's the evidence. But second half, I think actually when Rice came off, Bournemouth started to have chances. They've got an incredible system, Rob, way of playing. They've got good footballers. Look, the Kirkezes and the Howsons are getting all the headlines, but Zaboni and Cook and Tyler Adams in midfield, they know what they're doing, Rob, and then they got a front four can cause you problems. There was no Semenyo, Tavernier and Ouattara are the wide players. Clive playing in a central position. Evan Nielsen got his red card overturned. And they're a threat, mate. They caused problems. In the end, they got themselves a couple of goals from set pieces, something we'll come back to from Arsenal's point of view. But end up winning the game 2-1, Rob. And it becomes another defeat for Arsenal. Second time that's back-to-back this season, home and away, that Bournemouth have beat them. It's another occasion when they were winning a game, Rob, and don't see it out. It was goals from set piece, and I have to say, probably the biggest headline was this was a very strong Arsenal team ahead of a massive Champions League game in Paris on Wednesday.
Well, I think, there's 2 points here, Rob. I mean, first off, Bournemouth, I mean, we've said all season long, it's a great story. It's an amazingly well-run club now. Bill Foley, the owner, went in there and he's totally changed the football club. I expected a tough fight from Bournemouth. Arsenal got it. Now, back to Arsenal. Gabriel missing, Rob, and people aren't talking about it enough, is a problem for Arsenal. Gabriel is one of the best centre-backs in the Premier League. 2 set-piece goals going in against for Bournemouth. Gabriel, I'm not saying he stops both of them or even one of them, but I don't know whether they can see 2 goals like that, Arsenal, with Gabriel in the side, right? That's the first point. The second point is about the team. PSG. We looked at their lineup, Rob. I think 10 changes. They lost that game too.
10,
no, they've already won it. I get that, right? So there's nothing really on the game. Arsenal, what's really on the game? If you're confident enough that they've got a good enough cushion now to finish in the top 5, which is the more all-important thing, why didn't Mikel Arteta rest more players? He put a strong team out there. He set his target is to finish second. Is it his ego getting in the way? He's played all those players. Most of them played for the majority of this game.
What do you mean by that ego?
Well, he said he wants to finish second. He wants to finish second. And these players are going to get used to playing 2 games in a week. And, why not? Why didn't he trust the squad, rest the key players, give them a rest up for a week instead of asking them to find another gear to try and get a result in this game that doesn't really mean anything. So that is a strong.
This game mattered less. I don't quite agree with the ego thing. Listen, I think finishing second is important to this football club.
Why is it important? Why is it important given they've got the biggest game, one of the biggest games in their history?
Because Gary Neville came in last season and wanted to argue with you about regression. So
this is nothing about regression. Nothing about regression.
No, you're not letting me have my point. You're asking me and then you're telling me, I'm saying to you, so if you finish second twice and then finish third the season after, there is some people who will have an argument that's regression because you haven't done as well. Now, I'm not saying I agree, but I'm saying part of why Mikel Arteta. I'm also saying that I think it's important that they do finish second, that they're the next best team to the champions, and then they've got to kick on again. To finish third or something would be like the end of season's dropped off. But I'm not saying that you need to play the team, because I also thought I was doing the team lineups, and when I got the team, we have a little write out of who we think the team might be and who might be the players. I couldn't have been further off in terms of how strong.
So what is it then, Rob? So what is it then with you? You're saying that it's important they finish second. So which way are you going?
But I'm not saying you can't finish second by playing a different team. I'm not saying you have to play. Playing your best team and finishing second, you're almost saying like his ego was, I'm going to put my best players out because I want to finish second. I'm saying to you, I don't think it should be about ego. I think the belief in that camp with that group of players should be that even the middle team minus 4 or 5 stars should be good enough to get them second spot in the league while they go about Europe. They had in Europe, they got a huge game at PSG. With 10 minutes on the pitch, they still had Saka on.
That's what I'm saying.
Odegaard on.
That's what I'm saying.
But that's not ego. That's not ego.
So why did he play them then? Why did he play them then when the best thing to do would have been to rest the players?
No, because he wants to play. I think he thinks about rhythm. I think he thinks about getting minutes in people's legs. I think he feels like the Declan Rices of the world, where you might not have even started Declan Rice. Saka hasn't had much football. Hadn't played particularly well last week. Actually, didn't play particularly well. I thought Kirk has done a good job on him. But maybe to get him some minutes. Odegaard is a perfect example of hasn't quite hit the levels he wants. So I think the manager feels I'm going to let them play themselves out of there, get them in a good space so that we go on to Wednesday night in good fettle. That's what I think he's doing. Now, I would say if when people talk about Mikel Arteta, that might be part of his management that he's got to address and think about in a different way. Because we've seen it before with Mikel Arteta. And I'm not so sure if... And I'll put him with the best. And Arsene Wenger is the greatest one there. And Sir Alex, I'm not sure if either of those two would have gone as strong with their team if they had a Champions League semi-final to play.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get to the bit where we agree and where we disagree. Of course, I agree that he should have gone with a weaker side to give his team, his football club, the best chance in a big game.
The biggest game of their season. Their season is Wednesday night at PSG. That is Arsenal's season.
No, okay, I'll take your point that if he feels that it's best for Martin Odegaard to be there at the end,
to get some minutes.
To go into a sliding challenge where he gets studded on his foot.
Well, we both went like, my gosh.
I know. Like, is it really necessary for these guys to get the extra minutes to be ready when most people thinking
okay, let me
like
chuck
PSG,
another thing
like
at you. Let me chuck another
up.
thing at you then. That he's a Mikel Arteta is proving to be a very good manager. But is there a point where at that situation, the Odegaard, okay, he decides to play him, Rob. Sometimes managers like, I was one of them. I prefer to play than not play. I like the rhythm of games. It was better for me. But let's even say he's made the right choice. If Odegaard gets to 60 minutes in Saka, I'm doubting if there's anybody on that bench who can go to the boss and say, Gaffer, should we, what do you think? I think he's his own guy and has already made his mind up that he's doing what he's doing.
Who, the manager?
And sometimes the manager, yeah.
What, so he had it in his mind to definitely play these all the way through. They played a game last week in a Champions League semi-final.
I think he has.
He
has, Rob, because he didn't look to me like at any point he was singing. We saw like last 5 minutes, didn't we? 3 changes after they made the one change. I think Rice came off was the only changes he's made. I think he was caught up in the game. He wanted his team to win. He will, and I'm saying maybe is there somebody? Does he need somebody in the back room who's strong enough to go? Gaffer, 60 minutes now. Should we think about getting 1 or 2 off?
So let's just clarify this and finalise it, right? Conclude it, right? We both agree that to play the majority of his star players pretty much all through this game was the wrong decision, right? Do we agree on that? That they should have been, right? But you think he did it because he feels like these players like those minutes. They want that rhythm to go midweek to weekend to midweek. When clubs moan about that all the time. Clubs moan about, there's all these midweek games in Europe, and yet he's allowing it where PSG said, we'll take this opportunity to rest the weekend, gives us a 4 weeks training, we get the right rhythm, we're ready to go. It's a different philosophy, and that might be his
management style.
That's the style.
Yeah, that might be his management style.
All right.
Now, if it's okay if you listen. Whatever happens, if he wins at PSG on Wednesday night,
of course,
genius.
Yeah,
genius.
Of course.
If he doesn't, questions.
Or if they look tired, Rob. If they look tired in the last 20 minutes,
and not at it.
Then that's the biggest kind of indicator of, should we have rested them in this game against Bournemouth at home?
Absolutely.
Right.
But listen, this is Mikel Arteta. It's also, Rob, and trying to say, it's also part of this guy has still got to get this team over the line. And maybe it's a learning for him. We talk about inexperienced players, inexperienced. He's not at the very top level. He's still having to prove himself. And maybe
is he cracking the whip too hard? on this group to try and get them battle weary. Listen, we're going to get through it. We're going to play in the Premier League minutes. We want to be, this is what we want to be doing every single.
The injuries hasn't helped. He hasn't got as many bodies as he would like.
Yeah.
But,
listen, I'm a fan of him. I'm a fan of the manager. I'm a fan of what this club has done. I'm a fan of the way the team is playing. You know that. I just think, wow, did he need to really drive at this game as much as it looked for points that we both believe they're going to be in the top 5? Of course, finishing second would feel better, but to potentially hurt next week, I don't know if it's a wise decision. But listen, they got away with it. I think everybody's injured, is free from injury.
Everybody's fit enough.
Let's see what they can do. Send them good luck against Wednesday night against PSG away.
So we'll take our anger out on PSG. I would rather not go angry and be in a good mood and having won 3-1 or something. But listen, if that's what the motivation is, let's see. Fingers crossed for Arsenal on Wednesday night.
Absolutely.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Lowe, and as we head towards the end of an exciting Premier League season, make sure you like and subscribe on the NBC Sports YouTube channel for more content like this.